Well, this past weekend, the Lake Forest men's hockey team took down Marion on Friday night 2-0 and then followed it up on Saturday with a 4-1 win over Lawrence. Currently on a 5-game winning streak, Lake Forest big games up ahead this weekend as they'll square off against NCHA South Division opponents on Friday night on the road at MSOE and then back home on Saturday for Alumni Night and Peter Taylor Award Presentation Night against Concordia. I'm Cam McGuire, the voice of Forester Hockey, and head coach Pat Keller joins me next for this week's episode of Inside Forester Hockey. Coach, another big weekend for you guys, another big 4 points, and it's almost like deja vu when we're sitting here. I just got to keep saying the same things.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good weekend, obviously. I think, anytime you can get 4 NCHA points, it seems like we talk about the same stuff a lot. But, with the conference being so tight, I mean, 4 points, taking care of home ice advantage is always important. So, the guys had another good weekend.
Well, Friday against Marion, you guys knew that was going to be a battle. They were on top of the North Division. 2-0 win for you guys. You guys had goals from guys that hadn't scored in a while, Colin Kane and Bron Loisel. That would be good to see.
Yeah, I mean, they're both obviously, good offensive players, and I think sometimes, you get in a little bit of a slump or whatever it is, puck's just not going in, but at the end of the day, try to talk to the guys about doing the little things right, even if you're not getting on the score sheet, helping the team win, having a positive impact on the game, and, with guys that are used to scoring, it's usually just a matter of time before they find the back of the net.
One Saturday, you guys had production from two really big guys, Colin Kane and Joey Sardina. They're in a line with Troy Nelson now. That line was put together about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. That line was really clicking on Saturday night.
Yeah, it was, and I think, when you look at that line, both Joey and Cullen are really offensive. Obviously, they're the ones, that kind of put up the points this weekend, but, you look at Troy playing in the middle. He does a lot of the little things, a lot of the dirty work. Defensively, he competes really hard and, facilitates a lot on that line. But obviously, when we put Joey and Cullen together, knew they were both really offensive-minded. And I think at the end of the day, you just kind of, sometimes switch things around, see how they work, and hopefully those guys are starting to find some chemistry together.
Well, in Friday's win, it was 35 shots on net, and then in Saturday it was 42. And you guys are 7-2 this season when out shooting your opponent. Take the number as you want it, but last couple weeks here, you guys are really firing the puck on net.
Yeah, and you and I have talked about that before, and having a shot mentality is something that we've been talking to the guys a lot about, especially the last month or so of the season. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's a tribute to how your team's playing as a whole, more possession time, getting pucks on net, but also not wanting to pass up any scoring opportunities. And I think we'd much rather have a shot on net for, potential rebound chance, than overhandling it and not ever threatening to attack the net. So the guys did a good job of putting pucks on net, driving the net, getting up in transition. So shot totals, it's one of those things. I think a lot of times if you're out shooting your opponent, hopefully it's indicative of more than just the pucks you're putting on net.
Let me ask you this. You look at the month of January now. So you opened with St. Norbert, and then it was Finlandia on Saturday, and then Adrian on Friday, and then Trine on Saturday, and then this past weekend, Marion on Friday, and then Lawrence on Saturday. Not to take away from the teams that you guys played the last couple Saturdays, but realistically, your really big game was on those Friday nights, but you guys were able to take down those opponents Friday and then keep that mentality and kind of forget about it a little and then move into Saturday and able to pull out the wins on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you're talking about, St. Norbert, Adrian, and then Marion, I mean, those are three teams that were in the national tournament last year. So I think the guys did a tremendous job on those 3 Fridays of getting up for those games. And then Saturday, like you said, it's nothing to take away from those teams. But, and I think there's kind of that always that risk of having a really big high on Friday night and then having a little bit of a letdown on Saturday. So we try to manage that the last few weekends, and I think for the most part the guys have done a good job with it. And at the end of the day, when there's 4 NCHA points up for grabs, it doesn't matter how you get them or how you lose them, whether you lose Friday or Saturday, so I mean, in the grand scheme of things, in terms of conference play, I mean, both games are of equal importance. So, like I said, I think, on Saturdays, a few periods maybe over the last 3 weeks where we've had some letdown or not that same consistent effort from Friday night, but ultimately the team has done a good job of sticking together and kind of working through that.
Well, 4 more points are up for grab this weekend. The Foresters going to head to Milwaukee on Friday to face off against MSOE, and then Concordia at home on Saturday for Alumni Night and Peter Taylor Award Night. And these are 4 big points, obviously, being within the South Division. Yeah. You look at the standings as a whole. Well, MSOE, they're in that 4 spot, so the last playoff spot right now. They've got 10 points, and then Concordia's in that 6 spot. Well, they've got 8 points, so 2 points separate the 6th and 4th place team in the South Division this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's, we've been talking about, it seems like all year, how tight it is. And I think, we talked a little bit on Saturday, against Lawrence that, we're going to see a lot of teams here that are fighting for their playoff lives, down the stretch. And, so as much as obviously you want to stay consistent and, look to where you are in the standings, I mean, you see 2 teams that are getting down to it, and those points are huge. And so I think it's just having that same level of consistency and effort and, really trying to grow as a team and bring that 60 minutes each and every night, no matter who you're playing. Because, there's always going to be, whether it's, for first place or for 4th place, last spot in playoffs, there's always going to be something on the line each and every game here for the next 6. So we expect 2 really competitive games. They're 2 teams that we know really well, obviously being in the South Division. And, I know Concordia's had a couple big wins lately, and MSOE played us tight, early in the year. So, and they're a different team on their home ice, I think. So, it's gonna be an important week of practice gearing up for both those teams.
Well, Friday night against MSOE, the start time for that one will be 7:05 on the road at the Kern Center, and then back at home at Alumni Memorial Fieldhouse on Saturday against Concordia at 7. If you can't make it out to this weekend's games, be sure to tune in at GoForesters.com. This has been another episode of Inside Forester Hockey. Thanks for watching.